Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a story time type video, which I said I would never do because I say too much. So I'm going to try really hard to try and articulate precisely exactly what I want to say. You may have noticed that I took a short break posting anything. That's because I was in the hospital for a little bit after a surgery I had last week. So today we are going to talk about what that is a little bit. I've had a lot of people in real life ask me exactly what it was because they don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and cross-post this on stuff so people kind of understand what's going on in terms of my uterus, because it's public knowledge now because I've been very open about all of this infertility stuff. It basically has a guest book at this point. So, we're going to do this in a who, what, where, when, why type fashion so that I can make sure to get you all of the information that you'd want. So, who? Obviously me. I'm the one with the uterus here. Also, my doctor. I go to one of the best reproductive endocrinologists in the state of Michigan. If you don't know what that is, it is a doctor who specifically specializes in reproduction. They focus on your hormone levels and reproductive issues that could inhibit conception. So my husband and I have been trying to conceive for like 3 years now. Like I should have a kindergartner at the point that we're at. So it's exhausting. So in order to get referred to one of these doctors, usually if you're under the age of 30, you have to try to conceive for over a year. So we started with my doctor about a year ago. It'll be last fall. So I have a perfect doctor. I love her. So she's very compassionate. She's been very nice. Their office has a great demeanor. I love them. If you're in my area or know me personally and you need a recommendation, I would be happy to let you know exactly who it is because they've been great the whole time. I've heard a lot of complaints about doctors or REs in this area not being attentive or having poor communication, and that's really frustrating when this life circumstance is already so frustrating. You want everything to be conveyed perfectly from the doctor's office. So now that goes to what? The procedure that I had done is called a myomectomy, which is the removal of uterine fibroids. So fibroids that are in your uterus take away your blood supply from the baby that you're trying to conceive. So in my situation, we could have like a perfectly healthy embryo, but then my fibroids are stealing all of the blood supply for that embryo, and my body could be like, never mind, and then result in a miscarriage. So that's why you want to get those out. I had four nice fibroids. So that could be the reason. We did have a loss last May, so that could have been the reason for the loss. Who knows? It was a very early loss. It was terrible, but I'm over it, so don't worry about it. We took the summer off of treatment in order to recover from emotional damages and just to get away from the fertility community and live life for a little bit because it takes over your life. So if you're here because you searched infertility stuff and you wanted to know what it's like, it's exhausting and it murders your life, and it is what your life becomes about 100%. So sorry if that's not the answer you wanted. It's not sunshine and rainbows and pineapples and rainbow babies. That's not what it is. It's a lot of like sadness and depression. So we took time off. So the myomectomy, they went in through where you'd have a C-section. So right in between my pubic bones, I have stitches. And I'll show you, but I can't like show you the scar. YouTube will take me off. But my stitches are from like right here to right here. Also, they went in through my belly button to clean up my endometriosis, which is a whole other reproductive issue that I have, which causes your body to grow additional tissue before you'd menstruate, but mine isn't just in my uterus, it's all over, so I have a whole bunch of internal inflammation. So we had to clean that up. When we first started at my doctor, that was like the first procedure that we did, is check me for endo because my mom has it and I have all the symptoms of it. So we went in and cleaned up all of my endo on my organs and then moved on to trying 3 rounds of IUIs, a round of IVF, which was successful, and then it wasn't. Awesome. Which then led to the break that we took over the summer, and now we're here. So basically, we're at the very beginning of our entire process again. Like, scratch everything that happened before and start over. So, that's the what. We went in, took out the uterine fibroids, sewed me back up, and now I have a lovely C-section scar without actually yielding a baby. Cool. Where did I have this done? You have to do it in a hospital. I did have to stay overnight, which is awful. I had quite possibly the world's worst hospital roommate ever. I had awesome staff, but the roommate was awful. Let me just throw a PSA out here for everyone that might have to stay in the hospital. If you have to stay in the hospital and you want to watch TV all night long when your roommate has just had surgery, bring some dang headphones. Also, don't bring your teenage daughter who wants to Snapchat on full volume through 4 a.m. because it's awful. I was really drugged up from the procedure, so at least I was able to like throw in some earplugs, put my earphones over, and watch my iPad and try and zone her out. Or else I would have complained a lot more and tried to get a new room. But it was one night, and I just wanted to get out. Plus, it motivated me the next morning to get my catheter out, which, yes, you do have to have a catheter after this procedure because you're not sitting up. Pee normally and get the hell out of that hospital because I could not handle this roommate anymore. But enough on her because she doesn't deserve any of my time. She was awful. Luckily, the hospital is very close. It's about 2 miles away from my house, so it did not take that long to get home when I finally was discharged. I do have a really hard time recovering from anesthesia, so it takes me a while to like not be lightheaded or not barf after waking up from surgery. So me walking around the hospital late at night like doesn't happen for me. I need to wait till the next morning. I walk the minimal amount that they require me to walk so that I can put my butt in a wheelchair, get wheeled to my car, and go home and recover and just not move. I know that's really bad for blood clots and stuff like that, but my blood pressure drops really bad. Not a thing that I can handle. When did this all occur? It was last Friday. I planned on posting this video the day that I recorded it, so in case I don't, it was exactly 10 days ago. The first 48 hours was terrible. You can't really move, and sitting up isn't happening, so like you have to use your arm strength to completely move yourself around, and it's really tiring. I hope you don't have to cough or sneeze because that hurts really bad. I went into surgery already having a cough that I was hoping would go away. It didn't. I still have it. It kind of like subsided for a few days because they have to intubate you, and then it came back when I got home from the hospital. And the deep cough like really hurts your incisions. But it's way better now. I'd say the first 3 days are the worst, and then it got better from there. So I had surgery on a Friday, got discharged on Saturday morning, didn't move much the whole first day that I was home. By Sunday night, I was stir crazy and went for a walk around the neighborhood with my husband and my dogs because I didn't want to lay anymore. My doctor said about 5 days I'd be laid up. I recover pretty quickly with stuff like this. So I'd say if you're in good shape and you're fit and stuff like that, 3 days is what you're going to be laid up. So it wasn't too bad. Which brings me to why have this done, which we already covered in a little bit in what the procedure is. But why is because the fibroids that hang out in your uterus steal blood supply from your potential life that you could be creating. So if your body is trying to supply too much blood to the fibroids, it would just terminate the pregnancy because you don't have the blood supply to give to the embryo and the growing fetus. So that would end in a early termination of your pregnancy, otherwise known as miscarriage, which is terrible. The procedure was somewhat voluntary. It was suggested when we went in for our appointment about our failed cycle when we lost the pregnancy in May. My doctor started talking about uterine fibroids and stuff like that, and I kind of just interrupted her and was like, you don't have to convince me. I know what you want me to do. Let's go ahead and do the surgery. Just give me the summer off. And she was like, okay. So it was easy to convince me. I knew it had to be done. I knew if we have to restart our whole IVF cycle, which we do after this, I wanted it to be in the best conditions possible. So I went in for my tune-up. So we cleaned out all the fibroids. We cleaned out my endometrial tissue that was overtaking everything, and basically started from scratch. So everything is cleaned up, and hopefully it will yield positive results after this. If you somehow found this video because you are searching infertility stuff, I could give you some insight on what it's like to be in the infertility community, but it would seriously take a whole nother video. It's exhausting. I'm really sorry you're here if that's the reason you came across me, but it's terrible. It's very isolating. A lot of YouTubers and bloggers dealing with infertility will try and make it positive and upbeat. It's not. It's a lot of heartbreak and depression. It's not a lot of sunshine, rainbows, pineapple-laden clothing, and rainbow babies. And if you looked into the infertility community at all, you'll know that those are things that people do to try and make themselves feel better. That's awesome. That's fine. If that's what you want more of an upbeat type experience, then go ahead, immerse yourself in that. But once you experience a little bit of heartbreak and devastation, it kind of feels like a joke. The one infertility community that I found to be extremely helpful is the subreddit r/infertility. The women over on that subreddit are a little bit more realistic about what's going on. It's not sugar-coated, plus all of the cute isms that people use with infertility are banned over there, just because it's like, be real. If you're going through this experience, you need to be able to use real words like vagina, which shouldn't make people uncomfortable, and sperm, and my period, and stuff like that. A lot of the fluff fertility communities, which I would say are like Facebook, Instagram, the YouTube community has a lot of it, are very like fluffy and don't really reflect how awful the whole experience is. So if you want more of a realistic, fact-based, scientific down-to-earth group of people, definitely go over to the subreddit. If there is any interest, I can talk more about what it's like being in the infertility community. It's not fun. You honestly are here to hope it's over as soon as possible, but that's not always the case. A lot of people are stuck here for years. And it's really sad. It's hard. It separates you from your friends, from family, from anyone that gets pregnant, because you automatically hate them. And anyone with small kids. It makes social media really hard to be on, because you're constantly avoiding baby announcements, gender reveals, first day of school pictures, Father's Day posts, Mother's Day posts, any post of people posting their babies constantly. So it's really hard just to be a normal person that uses social media. And you may be thinking, if this isn't you, if you aren't in this circumstance or going through treatment or IVF or IUI are hard to conceive, you might think that it's a very dramatic response. You're not wrong, but you're guarding your heart and you're protecting your feelings, and that's how you go about it. And it's sorry. Total avoidance, because it really sucks. Hopefully in the end, everything ends up to be worth it. I am continuing to heal from this surgery. I should probably be about 2 more weeks of healing before I can do anything, which is super hard because I just want to work out and do something, and I'm bored and stir crazy and I feel lazy and I just want to lift something, and I can't lift anything over 10 pounds, which is like my cat. I know all of this information is a little bit heavy. It's not light and fun at all, but it's the truth. It's not a fun thing. It's a lot of heartache and pain and a lot of medical procedures. Going through IVF is a lot of early mornings and stabbing myself with needles. So I can talk about that at some other time, but that's a whole nother video of what my protocol would be for IVF, plus all of the injections that I have to do and stuff like that. So if you want more information on this at all, you can feel free to find me on Instagram and message me. I have no problem talking about infertility at all. I'm very open about it. I've found it to be a lot easier to be open about it so that I don't have to lie. I do have a very supportive friend community as well as a very supportive family when it comes to this, and I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people have situations where they can't talk about it and they don't feel comfortable putting that information forward, and that's totally fine. But I have no problem talking about it. If this is something that you're dealing with and you don't want to say anything about it, you can go ahead and message me about it. I will talk about it all day. It's literally what my life revolves around until it's over. Also, just as a PSA, if this is part of your life, don't Google everything. Having too much knowledge about everything going on is overwhelming and makes you obsess. I was an obsessive, paranoid monster last spring. We had a lot of traumatic things happen all at one time, and obsessively Googling my miscarriage symptoms didn't help, even though we knew what was happening. Don't just Google everything. Reaching out to people that have also been through this is a lot of help. It helps soften the blow a little bit and make you feel like you're not so alone. If you are watching all of this and you do not have to deal with any of it, or if you are going to start trying to create a family, Google these things. Google all the things, because sex ed does not prepare you for this kind of stuff. They basically tell you that if you take your clothes off, you're going to get pregnant. That's not how this works. It's a lot of very particular things that have to go right in order to become pregnant. And while it's not a remarkable thing to become pregnant because it's something that your body is supposed to do, it is. It's a lot of just right things that have to happen in a particular order in order for all of this to go successfully. And if you're lucky enough that you don't have to deal with this, at least know about infertility and IVF and IUIs and all of these procedures that maybe your friends are going to have to go through, because you can't sympathize unless you really know what's going on. To wrap all of this up, I will be healing up and starting treatment again coming up this fall. So hopefully this can be one of the last times I have to have surgery for this. That would be awesome. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can drop a comment below if you want to say anything about any of this, if you've gone through this, if you have any questions, I will publicly reply to them. I don't care. Have a great day, guys, and see you later.